Good afternoon, everyone. Happy Monday. It is August 17th. Hopefully, everybody had a good weekend. Hopefully, you're all having a great day. Hopefully, you're all having a great start to the work week. How's everybody doing on this Monday afternoon, August 17th? Make sure you all hit the like button, hit that subscribe, share this channel out with everybody you know. I would greatly appreciate it. But what is up, folks? What is up? What is up? What is up? And decided to go live. I'm gonna try and keep it to like 30 minutes. So just because I got some other stuff going on. But the Yankees, first and foremost, before we get into the Jose Caballero conversation, the Yankees won the series finale against the Toronto Blue Jays. Yes, they lost the series. At least they didn't get swept. Getting swept. Losing a series is already bad enough. And getting swept is just the worst part of a series, of course. But at least the Yankees won the final game of the series against the Blue Jays. As of right now, when it comes to the standings, the Yankees at this very moment are 5.5 games back in the AL East. So, of course, the Rays are the leaders there, and they have 3 games. They're 3 games ahead of the Red Sox right now. And we have a new wild card team right now that's in the final wild card spot. That's the Baltimore Orioles, who the Yankees will be facing starting tomorrow. The Yankees have an off day today as they're traveling back from Toronto, and they'll be back in the States to play against the Orioles in a 3-game set. And the Orioles have been making some noise here, and it's like I was saying over the last few days. You don't know what August and September is going to bring. There's always going to be some team that's going to go in to the last 2 months of baseball hot, and they're going to ride, and they're going to have that fire that's lit under them. And it seems to me that as far as the final wild card spot goes, that's going to continue to change quite a bit, because at one point there was a while there where you had the Cleveland Guardians, then the Texas Rangers took over, right? And now you got the Baltimore Orioles. So you got 3 teams in the AL East as in the wild card spots. So we'll see what the wild card looks like, in these final games of baseball. We still have a little over a month of baseball. Don't get me wrong, but it's just going to be interesting to see who takes the spot. Because I was going to say the American League right now is so tight right now. It's anybody and everybody can get into the playoffs. So. Nobody is really officially out, right? So, right now, every team is either half a game to 2.5 games out of the final wild card spot. So it's really anybody's. It's really anybody that could get in. So we'll see what happens. But it was nice to see the Yankees win again. Yesterday's game, they won yesterday's game 4-3, which, funny enough, that was my score prediction for yesterday's game. And Ben Rice hit a big 2-run home run in the top of the 10th, and the Yankees actually won a game in extra innings away from the stadium, right? So it's not something that we see often. But it was nice to see Ben Rice hit that big 2-run homer. It made up for that error that he had, and I always talk about how whenever the Yankees make any errors, the floodgates open, right? The other team, takes advantage and is able to take the lead and eventually win, right? So, Ben Rice certainly needed that. There needs to be more consistency from Ben Rice. And personally, I don't think his struggles get talked about enough because we're, obviously as fans, we've been so heavily focused on, Trent Grisham. We're so heavily focused on Jazz Chisholm. It's not to say that we shouldn't ignore their struggles, but Ben Rice has, his production has taken a big dip in over the last month. So, just to quickly talk about his stats real quick, you know, um, I don't want to say it's all bad, but again, it's still a drop. I mean, that OPS is still 877, but the OPS has taken a big drop there. On base percentage is at 344. That's good. Batting average is really taking a dip. It's at 251. I mean, he was up well over 300 at one point, and that has come down quite a bit. And looking at if we look at his last 15 games when it comes to Ben Rice, batting average 113, on base percentage 230, slugging 245. We can't ignore that, right? We can't ignore that. As much criticism as guys like Jazz and Grisham get. I think there needs to be some criticism towards Ben Rice. I think he's pressing at the plate. I think he obviously opposing pitchers are able to get to him, but the numbers are pretty bad for Ben Rice. And again, the 2-run home run was a good feel for him. I'm sure it felt good for him, and there still needs to be more of that from Rice, right? And I'm not just saying just hit home runs. What I'm saying is more offensive production overall, right? Not just with the home runs, just getting on base, getting hit, getting those timely hits, right? Sack flies, even if it means bunting. He needs to get on base more often. He's been like I said, he's been slumping, and I've certainly taken notice of it. So let's see how he does moving forward. And it was nice to see Jose Caballero in the lineup yesterday. So Aaron Boone did say that he was going to shake things up to try and improve the offense, to try to bring more production, because the offense is not as productive as it needs to be. And the num the numbers are bad, right? The numbers are bad for the Yankees bats. The pitching is no doubt really good for the New York Yankees. I mean, yesterday the Yankees were able to at least get some success against Dylan Cease. I mean, Dylan Cease still had a pretty decent outing, right? Gave up 2 earned runs and struck out 10, walked 3. And Ryan Weathers held his own yesterday. I think a lot of folks, including myself, had their doubts about Weathers, but Weathers did better than what was advertised. And Weathers I feel like he is earning his spot in the rotation. I think he's trying to keep his spot in the rotation, and rightfully so. But 7 and a third, only gave up the 1 run. He struck out 4, walked 1. He was able to get himself out of jams. It also helped that the Yankees were able to turn double plays, which is always nice to see. Since George Lombard's been called back up, or since he was called up. But back to what I was talking about. Sorry, I got sidetracked. But Caballero, right? Caballero was plugged into the lineup. The Yankees sat Jazz Chisum, which I think was the right decision. There hasn't been a whole lot of production when it comes to Jazz Chisum. I mean, his last 15 games, you look at his last 15 games, he's batting a buck 63, 268 on base percentage with a 224 slugging. So there has been, you know, there hasn't been that production that we were looking for from Jazz. I mean, Jazz overall, his numbers dropped from last season. He's not the same guy that he was from last year. However, you know, I don't know what the Yankees plan on doing moving forward, but one thing I do know is that Caballero needs to get more playing time at second base. All right, Lombard, obviously he's a lock at shortstop, but ever since he's been called up, Caballero hasn't been getting a lot of playing time, and I think he needs to see more playing time. I think he needs to be in the lineup more often, and I think Jazz needs to ride the bench. And I don't think he's going to be. I don't think Jazz is going to be the type of guy that's going to ride the bench the way Caballero has been. You're obviously going to still see Jazz in the lineup, and it wouldn't surprise me if you see him in the lineup tomorrow against the Orioles. I haven't really checked the pitching matchups, but don't be surprised if Jazz is back in the lineup. But Caballero, to me, I think he could be a much bigger contributor in the lineup right now compared to Jazz. And Caballero was a contributor yesterday. In yesterday's game, he was able to score a run on a sac fly. Right, he drew a four pitch walk against Dylan Cease. Did a good job challenging those pitches. Had a stolen base, and in a sense, manufactured a run. He contributed to that, and he also had an RBI yesterday too. So he drove in a run. He was 1 for 2 with a walk. And Caballero, as far as his numbers go, his overall numbers: batting average of 242, an on-base percentage of 300, 690 OPS. So his numbers really, when you compare it to Jazz's numbers, they're better, right? I mean, they're better than Jazz's numbers, right? I mean, overall. So where Jazz is better is, he's got more home runs, which is fine. I'm not always going to be focused on the home runs, but I think Caballero can give you a little bit more production, and he could also give you the defense at second base. And I feel like him and Jazz can, or him and George Lombard would have that nice chemistry, and I think they could work well together. The right side of the infield just would be just as good, right, with Caballero, and the left side is already a lock. We've been seeing that. And it was nice. It was nice to see Ben Rice at first base yesterday. It was, but I do think that Luis Garcia is a better first baseman. That could be up for debate. But bottom line is, I think Jose Caballero needs to play more often, and he needs to be in the lineup a little bit more. So we'll see how the series is going to go with Baltimore. Are we going to see Jose Caballero in the lineup at all, or are they going to continue sticking with Jazz? And if they continue sticking with Jazz, I wouldn't be surprised. But maybe with Jazz not playing yesterday and with an off day today, maybe this is what Jazz needs. And if the Yankees do plug him back into the lineup, perhaps he does get plugged back into the lineup tomorrow, and maybe 2 days of rest will do him good, and he'll do better, right? But obviously we'll wait and see what happens with that. But real quick, let me say what's up to the chat. We got Hector in the chat, Jonathan in the chat, Pixelmon, Dev, Beagle, what's up? How's it going? So nice to see everybody. Just a few people in the chat, but thank you all. Like I said, I'm going to keep this live stream pretty nice and short. I'm not going to go live for as long as I normally would. So probably just going to keep it up to 30 minutes. Pixelmon was saying not sure why they ever started benching Cabby. I mean, they called up Lombard, right? And I think it was inevitable that Caballero was going to get benched. I mean, ultimately, Jazz is a second baseman. He has been the second baseman. But like I was talking about, you're not getting a lot of production out of Jazz, right? Offensively, you're not. He does a decent enough job at second base. I don't think he does a bad job. I think he does a good job, and I think he is better as a second baseman, especially since they called up Lombard. I think him and Lombard have a very good chemistry. I mean, again, if you notice, they're turning more double plays, and I agree. Yes, he was clearly a better shortstop than Volpe too. Look, there was a reason why the Yankees traded for Caballero last year. All right, at the deadline, there was a reason for it. It's not it's not just that he's a utility player. The guy, he's a pest at the at bats. He gives you good at bats. Sometimes, yeah, it does. A lot of there might be a lot of times where sure it could result in these outs, but he makes opposing pitchers work. Yes, he does swing at some silly, at some silly pitches from the opposing team, but I think he gives you more hope at the plate than Jazz does, and he'll make pitchers work. And if you get him on the base paths, he's an absolute pest. So he wreaks havoc on the base paths. So he can be a nightmare for again for opposing teams. And that he was traded just at the time just because the Yankees needed somebody outside of Anthony Volpe, outside of Oswald Peraza. Peraza obviously he's not on the Yankees anymore, but I mean that's who you had at the time. So you know they needed to light a fire under Anthony Volpe, and Caballero didn't waste any time when he was traded to the Yankees. I mean, he brought that same level of intensity from the Rays to the Yankees, and that's exactly what the Yankees were looking for. And even in the beginning of the season, I mean, he got it. He got his chance to show what he's got. Volpe was hurt in the beginning of the season. He had that shoulder surgery, so he was out for a little bit. But we were able to see that level of production from Jose Caballero, and it was a night and day difference, right? And once they brought Volpe back, it just seemed like the production just kind of dropped, and all of a sudden you see Caballero playing every day, which I think was wrong. Um, Caballero needed to be that guy that plays shortstop, but right now since Lombard's up. Um, I think Caballero needs to get more playing time at second base. That's what I think. So, um, we'll see. We'll see if Caballero does get more playing time, but I think he needs to. I think he needs to because, like I said, I think he gives you more production at the plate than Jazz will, and he could play second base. And I think him and obviously on that right side of the infield, I don't think production's going to really change. And he already has. I know he'll have good chemistry there with George Lombard. So I don't think there's any doubt. We saw that in yesterday's game. And real quick, shout out to Hector being a member of the channel for 3 months. What's going on? So what's going on? What's up? What's up? And we got Jake in the chat. What's up, Jake? And Bronx Bombers in the building. Theo's in the building. What's up? Rodney, what up, Rodney? What's going on? What up, CT? What's going on? Just saying what's up to the folks in the chat. Appreciate you all being here. Um, Well, Jake, I mean, listen, we don't know how things are going to play out. When Judge, Bellinger, and Stanton come back, I'm not saying that the Yankees are just going to be all of a sudden firing on all cylinders and they're going to go on this 10-game winning streak. During the season. I mean, it's going to take them a little bit to ramp up. But with those guys coming back, it has to be better than the lineup that they've been putting out, right? I mean, with those three guys present, the lineup is going to look better. Um, you know, when those guys come back compared to what it looks like now, this isn't going to be the final lineup. And as far as what happens in the postseason, I mean, again, we don't know what's going to happen in the postseason. yet. So let's get there first, and then we could probably talk about it. And who knows what the roster is going to look like. We know Judge and Bellinger is going to be on there. Stanton's kind of a question mark for me. I'm not really sure. Um, I'm not really sure what's going to happen with Stanton, especially with the options that the Yankees have currently. So it'll be interesting to see. But he is making his. I mean, he is looking to make his comeback. He has been ramping up, and yeah, well, I'm not really surprised that they didn't get Luis Ariz. Let's be honest. So, um, and yeah, I'm not really surprised about it. So, CT says I was all about Jazz when we first got him. He brought a great energy and vibe, but this season has been bad. Yeah, sadly. I mean, at that time, Jazz wasn't really my first choice to trade for him, but I wasn't upset with the deal either. I would have preferred somebody else. I forgot who it was, but it was for me. It wasn't Jazz Chisholm. Um, but I think that he wasn't my yeah. I thought he would have been great. Like I thought, okay, cool. They traded for him. I like the energy that he brought. Um, I He just wasn't my first choice at that time. Ronnie says sit Jazz, so it will be better than it is now. But it's still not enough. There are too many duds. Well, like I said, I agree that the offense. I'm not, as I said earlier, the offense has not been the greatest, and right now with the current lineup that they have, with the current guys that they have right now, they're going to have to do everything that they possibly can to squeeze out wins, even if they win by one run or they win in a nail biter. At the end of the day, a win is a win, and you know like I said, with Judge and with guys like especially Judge and Bellinger coming back, it's gonna at least it's gonna improve the lineup. I'm not saying that these guys are gonna absolutely smash it right away. I mean, we just need them. Hopefully, they'll be ready by October. But last year, yeah, in the playoffs, it wasn't great at all. But Yankees also, yeah, they weren't hitting, but also their pitching was getting killed. Got killed too. So it's a different story this year. So I mean, if the offense can do a better job, especially with those guys coming back, and the Yankees have the best pitching right now in Major League Baseball. I know some of those games they're losing, but it's due to poor offense. But hopefully, again, with these guys coming back, the offense will improve. So we can only hope. So right now the Yankees have a better even with the injured players, right? Even with the guys that they got in the lineup right now, they have a better record this year than they did last year. They do. I mean, it may not mean nothing, right? When the playoffs come around, everybody's record is going to go to 0-0. Regular season's not going to matter, but you're hoping, especially again with the guys that are out. You're hoping that they bring that level of production that they had earlier in the season does make its comeback. It's going to take its time, but um, it could be worse. I mean, these guys could be out for the whole season. If they were out for the whole season, then yeah, there's a reason for worry. So Judge has the type of skill, or Jazz, sorry, Jazz has the type of skill he could go off in a series and take it over for multiple games. That's why Boone will not sit him. Has he been bad? Yep, but it's still there. I mean, yeah, but that's the thing that's inconsistency though. Bronx Bomber, unfortunately, man. Um, the sad part of the Jazz, I think, is his own worst enemy. I think Jazz Chisholm could be a lot better than what he had showcased. I don't think Jazz plays to the skill set that he should be. Um, I think he needs to be a guy that gets a lot of hits and gets on base and wreak havoc on the base paths. We've seen him do it, but he needs to be that guy more consistently. Just kind of that Jose Caballero type of caliber. Yeah, Carlos Rodon will be back too. We'll see if he comes back and pitches against the Orioles tomorrow. Because I say tomorrow because he tomorrow would be 5 days rest, or does he get another rehab start? So you might see him. You might see him pitch against the Orioles tomorrow. Look at Guerrero for Blue Jays, who has been worse than him all season. Schneider will still pencil him in. This is what I'm saying though, right? Like Guerrero has had Guerrero's had a dip in production, right? And you want to talk about dip in production and the money that these players get paid. Look at Kyle Tucker, right? Kyle Tucker is getting paid 60 million. He's not putting $60 million type of numbers. So just saying. Yeah, let's see the record. Right, Yankees right now 69-55. They're 14 games over 500. I want to see. Let me see if I could find the the record from last year because the Yankees were playing pretty bad during this time last year. They were going through a big slump. Trying to see what their record was on this date last year. I'll have to find it. Yeah, Vlad isn't playing well this entire season, right? I mean, it happens. It happens. I mean, some of these guys, they're getting paid. They're getting paid nicely and rightfully so because of they're the player that that we see, right? That excellent ball player puts up numbers, is a threat at the plate, is a beast on the plate, but sometimes they just have one of those. They have one of those off years. It happens. What's up, Yankee Kyle? Hopefully you had a good time in your hometown. Well, New York City is my hometown as well. I will say a great place to visit. Um, I definitely wouldn't move back. That's for sure. But Yankees. I'm still trying to see what the Yankees record was on August 17th, 2025. Um, well, she's telling me they were 16-12 last year. Let me see if it'll do this. Yeah, it's now you're just rubbing it in. Sure. Yeah, well, last year's slump needed to be reminded. It needed to be reminded. I needed to let every. I needed. It needed to be reminded. Sorry, but I'm gonna point this stuff out for sure. So yes, indeed, it's just what the doctor ordered, huh? Yeah, they were okay. So they were 67-57 last year on this date on August 17th. So they were 10 games over 500. Right now they're 14. They're 14 games over 500. So it is an improvement. It's better than where it was last year. The biggest difference now is the pitching for the Yankees. Right, the Yankees pitching was not great last year. This year it's so much better, right? So I mean, last year, you didn't have the bad bullpen arms. You don't have Mark Leiter Jr. You don't have Devin Williams. Luke Weaver, unfortunately, didn't exactly turn out the way we had hoped. But but the pitching was definitely not helping the Yankees whatsoever. And this year it's a different story. The pitching has been phenomenal for the Yankees this season. Hey, you know what? I'll take slight improvement all day, every day, bro. I won't. As long as it ain't worse from last year. But 14 games over 500 again, especially with the offense not being as productive as we want them to be. I will for sure take it. I mean, the Yankees. I would love for them to go on a run as well. Um, and I'm not, and when I was talking about Jose Caballero, I'm not saying that Caballero is going to be the single guy that's going to help this team go on a run. I mean, it's going to take the entire village, but I'm saying Caballero will be. I think he'll be a better contributor than Jazz will, and but I think at the end, at the end of the day, obviously, I mean, it's going to take the whole entire team. But I think Caballero will be a bigger help than Jazz will in the lineup. So they do need to go on a run. Absolutely, I 100% agree. But if they're not going on these long winning streaks, they just need to win as many games as possible until some of the reinforcements come back. And some of these wins are not going to be pretty, right? Yesterday's win wasn't exactly the prettiest. I mean, the Yankees could have easily lost that game. When it went to extra innings, I certainly thought, oh man, here we go. They're going to extra innings. There's a likely chance the Yankees lose because we've seen how they play in extra inning games. Um, The silver lining with injuries is the Yanks were forced to play their youngsters. You know what, man, and I think that's probably, to me, that's probably a blessing. With these injuries, so you're seeing more opportunity with prospects getting called up to play, which is good. Because these prospects could be are probably the future of the organization. And I think Spencer Jones. I still say he's going to be the future of the organization. I think he needs to be the guy that takes over center field for next year, right? I don't that's just my thought. Um, I'd say the Yankees are going to move on from guys like Trent Grisham and Jazz. So I don't think there's any doubt there. Obviously, we know with Lombard, Wells is still going to be on the team, but the Yankees still should explore catcher. They need to get another cat. They need to trade or sign another catcher, no doubt. And second base is going to be really the biggest question mark. What they do at second base is going to be a question mark. Do they stick with Caballero? They could easily plug Caballero there. I know a lot of fans are scared that Volpe might not be gone from this organization, and they put him at second base. Although I do think that Volpe would be a better second baseman than shortstop. But then the question is what kind of production he's going to bring offensively. So yeah, it might a guy like Volpe might be better for second base. I'm saying if they go in house, I think they need to stick with Caballero if they don't sign or trade for anybody. We got Cam Jones, Lombard, and Rice. Yes, Rice's second season, I know, but yeah, four young players. I mean, at the time you had Judge, you had Gary Sanchez, right? Wasn't Clint Frazier part of that too, right? You had a few guys back. What was that? 2016, 2017. So it's good that the Yankees are playing their prospects. There's promise. Yeah, look, Bronx Bomber. I ultimately, at the end of the day, I want the Yankees to win the division. All right, I'm not, I'm not saying that the Yankees should just settle for the wild card. I want them to win the division. I think we all do. I think the whole Yankee universe wants them to win the division. So I mean, 100%. Um, the Rays right now they're on a bit of a I don't want to say a slump, but it looks like the Orioles right now have been uh, kind of have their number. Right, the Orioles have been uh, playing well against the Rays in this series. And the Rays have lost 3 out of 4 against the Orioles over the weekend. So the final game of the series is today. Do they complete the 4 game sweep? So let's see, right? The Yankees, once again, they need to continue winning games in the hopes that the Rays lose. I mean, the Rays have they got a good squad this year, right? But the Rays are always competitive, right? The Rays are always competitive. There's always those years where a team catches fire, and for that one year, and play really good baseball, kind of like the Blue Jays last year. They had a fire lit under them, and they made it all the way to the World Series to lose for them it was unfortunate because the World Series was in their hands. The Rays are kind of similar in that aspect. They have this fire that's under them this season, and are they going to the World Series? I mean, I'm not going to make that call now yet, right? Uh, you don't know how the playoffs are going to be played or how they're going to play out, right? The postseason, you don't know how those games are going to get played out, but if the Rays could make it, it's entirely possible. Well, they CT. I mean, they go into. I feel like they go into every series wanting to win. I think they're ready to win. Obviously, they're always ready to win. Uh, it's not like they're going to win every season, or every game, but they need to win as many series as possible. I don't think there's any doubt there. And over the last month or so, it's the Yankees have been winning series or splitting. They've lost a few, right? Blue Jays this past weekend, Dodgers, Cardinals, right? So these are what I've been saying. So we'll see how things play out when the Yankees meet with them. But the division series is always so crucial. And the Yankees have a big series starting tomorrow against the Baltimore Orioles, who hold the final spot in the wild card. So they are now in third place in the wild card division, and that could very well change by next week. It just seems like there's always a new team, but it seems like the Red Sox, unless they go on some big collapse, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the postseason. And I always say, man, you don't count anybody out in the American League East. The American League East is very competitive, and all those teams give each other a hard time. And when those teams play against the Yankees, they're always gonna give the Yankees a lot of grief. So, I mean, the AL East is still up for grabs. Listen, there's still what 39 games that still need to be played, right? The Yankees are currently 69-55. 100. Yeah, so there are 38 games left in the season. So it's entirely possible they could still get the division. It's going to be tough. I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It's definitely going to be hard. Um, but when the Yankees face the Rays again, that's when they have to start. They got to win. They got to win that series at the very least. I mean, losing a series is not going to be acceptable. A sweep would be fantastic. But anyway, folks, I'm going to end it right here. But like I said, I went over a little 30 minutes, but that's okay. I just wanted to just go live and talk about really. I know we talked about a lot of things, but really my thing is they need to play Jose Caballero more often than Jazz. But it wouldn't surprise me if we see Jazz in the lineup tomorrow. But I think Caballero, like I said, ever since Lombard's been called up, um, Jazz hasn't really been, or not Jazz. Caballero hasn't been getting that playing time. But I think he needs to get more playing time than Jazz, and I think offensively, I think at the plate he'll bring more production. And there's 17 votes, and all 17 of you that voted said that Jazz or that Caballero should get more playing time. So it seems like it's unanimous. But but yeah, we'll talk about it some more, folks. But appreciate everybody joining me this afternoon. Like I said, I wanted to keep the live a little bit shorter. But went live for just a little over 40 minutes. Again, that's okay. But Yankees are off today. They are in Baltimore on a 3-game set tomorrow. So let's see how they perform, folks. Let's see how they do against the Orioles. The Orioles right now holding that final spot in the wild card. They're in third place in the wild card standings at this moment. So it's not going to be an easy series. But let's hope the Yankees can at least take the series. I'll take 2 out of 3, right? And especially on an away series, I'll take that. I'll take that all day, every day. But thank you all for joining me on this Monday afternoon. Enjoy your day. Have a nice day, folks. And I'll see you all next time. Make sure you keep your notifications on. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Once again, thank you all for the 3,000 subscriber count. It means the world to me. So now we're on the road to 4,000. And as promised, I will do a live stream. I'm going to give away 3 gift cards to Fanatics to 3 lucky winners. We'll do the duck races. So anybody who wants to participate, I'll tell you how to participate when I do that. So I haven't forgotten. It will go down. But thank you all very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And as always, let's go Yankees.